SmartB Sports Update Podcast is brought to you by Optimum CBD. For all your rest and recovery needs, CBD products are your best bet. Go to optimumcbd.store to order now. Free delivery on all orders over $99. You must be over 18 to order. I use Optimum CBD products personally for my rest and recovery. I train 6 days a week in Jiu-Jitsu, as you've probably heard on the SmartB Sports Update Podcast. I teach, I train, I compete. And without Optimum CBD products, I wouldn't be able to do it. Optimum CBD for all your rest and recovery needs. That interaction was hilarious, man. Hi, everybody. We've got Mitchell Pearce here. But that was an fully funny thing because he asked you a question and you answered like a politician. And then his response to that is like, mate, if Dylan Brown's worth
pulled me out.
$2 million, then Nathan Cleary's worth $2.8 million.
I was just wishing our off-camera conversation would continue.
I don't want to die.
Leave that out.
We unveiled everything on the Hollywood.
Must have been the oils.
So what do we got going on, Dan? What's going on in 2025?
Okay, so we might start off by talking about your Roosters, Mitch. Corey Parker's had a little bit to say about them a few weeks ago. He thinks they've let too much experience go. They've lost 1,257 games of experience last year, and he's tipping them to miss the 8. What do you make? I'm guessing that you don't agree with that, and you think that he's wide of the mark there.
Yeah, I don't agree. I think the thing with the Chooks, obviously I work there. So, doing a fair bit of stuff with the younger kids, which is enjoyable. I haven't been around NRL too much, but employed by the club, and I really think they'll do well this year. I think the turnover of players is scary, and the players that they have lost, like you rattle them off. 6 or 7 of their best players.
Jennings, Keary, Manu, Terrell May, Suoli'i, Tupanua, JWH.
So it's basically, with Jared and Terrell's basically their 2 best middles from last year, 2 best outside backs.
Yeah.
One of their halves.
Their best half. With their leader in the halves.
Did they sign a new half?
Chad Townsend.
Chad Townsend, So they reckon he's been really good, Chad. Being in and around the group. It was a pretty good pickup, I think, for the club to get Chad. Obviously, it would have been on probably minimal contract.
Yeah, well, I remember when they signed him and basically said they were going to play him in the New South Wales Cup.
Yeah.
That was the entire plan. And then he would have a post-career job.
Yeah.
And then they let Keary go.
Chad.
Well, that was what he said. Right? Why wouldn't they take it? But then they let Keary go, so he becomes a first choice.
Yeah, well, they obviously probably didn't expect. Luke was still in limbo whether he was going to retire, I think. But I think from all reports, Chad's been really good as far as experience. Like he's played 250 games as a halfback. I think he's won a comp. He's won a comp. So
With the Sharks.
obviously he's on a bit of older legs, but it's probably the perfect signing for where they're at with Sam Walker out and.
Sam Walker's out for the year. Brandon Smith's
not out the years. I think he's out till June.
And Brandon Smith out to June, July as well. Yeah.
So I think it'll be Sandon Smith and Chad Townsend in the halves. But yeah, there's a few. Rob Toya's an outside back. It's a really good centre.
Yeah, Mark Nawakana-Tawazi as well.
Yeah,
Wallabies player. He's going to be second year. So, but they're going to have to. Those players are going to have to step up for him. Big time. It's
still, there's still quality names there, of course. Tedesco, Daniel Tupou, Dom Young, Sam Walker when he comes back, Spencer Lenny, Brandon Smith when he comes back, Lindsay Collins, Nat Butcher, Angus Crichton, Victor Radley, and then you've got, Connor Watson on the bench. So you've still got a decent side. That top 17 is still a decent side if they can stay injury free.
They've got a top 8 team and a top 8 coach.
Yeah.
But maybe the loss of these players, it's probably going to test their depth a bit. If a lot like most sides, if a number of players go down injured, maybe their depth tested a little bit because of all the players they've lost. But the top 17's looking pretty strong still.
Yeah, I think depth and then just the style of footy probably that they're going to play. Obviously, with the halves there, bit of a difference, or big difference in the halves, and then all of a sudden you're throwing an injury. All of a sudden it's you're scratching down your roster a little bit. There's a really good half Toby Rodwell, I've been working with. That's there. Jake Elliott.
Yeah, he's one of their gains. Him and Chad Townsend are the two gains that he's just got.
Toby's a really good, really good player. He'll be a good NRL player in the next couple of years, but he's still young. But as you said, there's a few injuries. The roster will get tested. That's going to be their challenge, and then and how they play as well. Obviously, losing Jared and all those big outside backs that they have. They're traditionally known for that power game and running over the top of teams.
They still scored the most points in this.
Last year, they attacked well last year.
Yeah, they had the best
attacked well last year.
Four, but not the best against. I think they topped the ladder. Yeah,
like, I'll have a look at that.
They always can score the points. It's just they're still also probably the most ill-disciplined team in the competition.
Yeah. It's been like that forever.
Yeah, well, we talked about it before. Like, it's heaps suspect to me because they've changed all the players, all the coaches, all the style of play, everything, and still the Roosters are... That's not something that's like the Tigers culture, where Tigers just suck and can't get off wooden spoon.
Yeah, you're right. You're right, they had the best attacking record.
You can't ingrain penalties into your club culture, surely. But the Roosters always seem to be on the top of the penalty count.
The year we won 2013, I'm pretty sure we had the most errors.
Yeah.
At any other team in the comp. So there was just heaps of drop ball, but I don't know. Defensively we were really good.
Yeah, I remember that.
They've had that culture for a long time since Robbo's been there.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see how they go. It's a bit of a challenge, obviously, that they haven't had for a long time. Turnover of players. We've got a lot of really good second-tier players at the moment.
Yeah.
Blake Steeps there, Rob Toya, Siwa Wong, that's Toby Rodwell that I said, Jake Elliott. So
they extended Siwa Wong as well.
He's a good player.
Yeah, I reckon he's good.
Blake Steep, I think, is a great player. I think he's a future player if he can find his rhythm in week-to-week NRL.
Yeah, I don't think Corey Parker's on the money there, actually, that they'll miss the 8 because...
Loves to comment, Corey Parker, doesn't he?
Queensland do. You've got to stay in the media.
So you think that was maybe a bit overboard from him to suggest that?
Oh, I think it's fair enough. I think the unknowns there for the Roosters, but as I said, I work there and I see how hard the boys work there and what they're capable of. I'm sure they're all aware of the challenge. It's a big player turnover, but sometimes it's your best response. When you're in a situation when you're not expected to win, which they haven't been in that situation much for the last probably 15 years.
Yeah, really. I can't remember. So that actually, nobody expects much of the Roosters this year, given that for the last... When did they last win?
2019. They won back-to-back in 18 and 19.
For the last 5 years, a lot of people would say, and we say, they've underperformed for the roster they've had, and now they don't have that best roster in the competition like they normally do. Everyone's writing them off. So does that help the players, you reckon? Like they'll be like, well, no one expects anything of us.
Yeah, well, it's a new sort of expectation, I suppose. It's a new thing for the club. As we just said, they haven't had that for probably sort of 15 years.
Yeah.
So I go back to sort of 2013. So what's that? It's over 11 years. 12 years.
Yeah, 12 years ago,
the club's been pretty successful and always been the Premiership favourites,
yeah,
or thereabouts. Obviously, the last couple of years, as you said, they've still been there. But they fell short one game last year.
Yeah,
in 70, so they had a good year.
I reckon it's always a bit harsh, but it's still like the thing is they haven't had a premiership now for 5 years, right? 4 years, but it's a bit harsh because only Penrith has had a premiership. Like nobody's had a premiership except Penrith, so it's a bit hard. It's like, you have a big expectation from the Roosters because they do win so often.
I think probably the thing, and even though I work there, I could say it's probably it's a unusual situation that the club's in.
Yeah.
They lose that many players and not replace it with a superstar. That's probably the best way to put it, I think. It's an unusual situation.
They missed out on a lot of players last year.
They did,
that was one of
they don't normally miss. So, but if anyone's going to get a younger group or transition year to the top, would be Robbo.
Yeah.
He knows how to do it. He's probably relishing in the opportunity, and I think it relies heavily on... It's a funny situation because Chad Townsend at 35 probably didn't expect to be this main.
Yeah, he was brought in to be a fringe first-grader New South Wales Cup player with the promise of a post-career...
It'd be a bit of a confusing...
career.
It'd be a mentality shift for him, probably.
And now they're like, oh, by the way, first choice halfback's injured and we've let go of our 6. So it's all you, and you've got these young guys.
So how he handles that would be interesting. I mean, I'm sure he'll be water off a duck's back at 250 games, but yeah, he was probably coming in as a foil, and now he's almost going to have to ride the wins and losses.
Yeah.
So, but I'm excited. All the boys say how well he's doing, and his voice will be calm, and they need that. They need that with the younger group.
Yeah, super experienced, yeah. That's always the thing. You want some experienced guys if you have a super inexperienced group.
Big time.
Yeah, at least one guy to come in and go, hey, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, calm down.
And apparently that's his best strength.
Okay.
From all reports of training and players that play with him, is that calm voice. So it's obviously gotten a bit slow. It's how Sandon goes with him as well, I think, obviously. He's a really good, talented player. And it's just a matter of how he goes and handles it week to week, which I'm sure he will.
He had some trouble here with he had a car accident. He didn't get any sanctions from the NRL yet.
Sandon Smith.
Yeah. Didn't he have a...
100,000.
Yeah, but he didn't get any suspensions or anything.
Yeah, like you said...
no suspensions, nothing like that, I think.
I think he's bumped a car. Actually,
NRL star Sandon Smith pleads guilty to rolling car accident that resulted in toe amputation.
That sounds heavy.
It's one of those things where it was like just a victim of circumstance. You know, he was trying to come out of the driveway or whatever to turn.
Yeah.
And it was like creeping out, and he shouldn't have crept out as far as he did, and he accidentally hit someone.
Yeah, right.
And the person got their toe amputated.
Yeah, right. I'll just read the first line of this report. Rising Sydney Roosters playmaker Sandon Smith has pleaded guilty to his role in a car accident in which a pedestrian suffered a serious foot injury, resulting in the man's little toe having to be amputated according to court documents. That's as per a report on the Fox Sports website from November last year. So
you don't need your little toe. It's what's it called? Evolutionarily pointless. That's fine. It
Just leave it.
You don't require it for balance or anything like that. That's fine. We never use our little toe in wrestling. My little toes are so... I currently have turf toe from wrestling.
You've been wrestling a bit?
Yeah, my little
right
one, it hurts. And Matt burnt myself all day today. I was doing double leg takedowns and I burnt my knees really bad. So
North Sydney?
Yeah. We're moving next week.
Oh, yeah.
Come down to Neutral Bay and check.
Neutral Bay?
Yeah.
Like we mentioned, certainly, had a really good season last year, reaching the prelim, but maybe it's that record. I think it's only one of their last 21 that they've won against the Storm and the Panthers since 2020, so maybe that record, maybe that's led them to think that they need to just maybe regenerate the roster a little bit.
I don't think they regenerated the roster. I think a lot of the players either retired or signed overseas or different codes.
Oh, JWH retired.
So Jared retired.
And then a week later came back and signed overseas, right?
Well, Jared retired. Luke retired. Sawali went to Union.
Yeah.
Manu went to Union. So that's... I
Manu
wouldn't say that's a turnover of pushing players. It's more of a players
the only one that really got pushed
paths,
was May.
So it's sort of out of the club's hands. Yeah. With those players, it's sort of a bit of a difficult situation. They would have, of course, kept them, I'd say, but those players leaving, 6 of your best players just either retiring or going to a different code, it's a bit unpredictable.
Yeah.
And then obviously Jenko's older, Dylan Napa was retiring. It's just a bit of a closing of the guard a bit with that roster you got. So yeah. It's going to come sooner or later. They've just got these younger boys. I said those guys that they got in that bottom part of their squad. Toby Robles, Siwa Wong, Rex Bassingway. He's a gun too, fullback. He got injured in the juniors on the weekend for a couple of weeks, but he's a real good fullback. He'll play first grade too. So see how they come on.
Yep. I know you work there. I'm sorry to put you on the spot, but where do you sort of think they'll finish this year?
I think they'll make the 8. The Roosters.
Yeah, okay.
I think they'll make the 8.
Yeah.
If they stay injury free.
Yeah.
I think they'll make the 8.
Okay. So Corey Parker's wrong then.
There's 8 spots for 16 teams because the Tigers are never going to make the 8, right?
The Tigers.
All right. Well, we might.
It's so sad.
We might move along to your other club, the Knights. What are we sort of thinking for them this year? They snuck into the 8 last year. Got beaten by the Cowboys on the first weekend. I don't think there's a whole lot to speak of in terms of gains. There's no one really of note there that they've signed. But what are we sort of thinking for the Knights this year?
They've still got Adam O'Brien's a coach, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, every year
the funniest
he
thing
skirts
about
that fine line about getting sacked, you know.
Well, the Matty Johns ones is the left field.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's that as well.
But is it Newcastle? Because they didn't reveal the team, right?
Well, you'd have to think it is, wouldn't you?
Because he was asked.
Maybe Matty just put it out there to
Well, that's the thing, right? The story is Matty John says one of my friends asked, would I be interested in coaching a club? And I said yes.
Matty is the media guru, isn't he? Yeah. So could have been a curveball. But who knows? Who would Matty want it?
He said he always said no, but now this time he said yes.
Oh, he wants
possibly.
Serious?
Yeah, possibly. Not definitely yes, possibly. But he's always said no.
Because I think he's coming off
a nice little 50 mil in the bank.
Yeah, I think
he's nice just to do it for a couple of years.
I think he's coming off contract at Fox, but I mean, but you'd have to think he's going to stay there. Like I don't think he's going to be leaving Fox anytime
Well, you'd
soon.
think with Matty, let's be honest, I'm sure he'd be pretty set up. You'd think his decision would be around wanting some different challenge, probably. I've had a lot to do with Matty throughout my career, throughout the last 20 years. And as a football brain, he's definitely one of the best at teaching halves and his outlook and the way he speaks about the game. How that transfers into being a coach week to week and dealing with all that shit.
That's the thing.
Would be a completely different challenge.
He always gets floated every time there's a coaching role for any rep team as well. You know, there's always like, New South Wales should do Matty Johns and Andrew Johns as the coaching.
Yeah.
And I think that's the worst idea ever. How much those two guys fight each other.
So you think if he hypothetically if he were to take that job, you think he'd do a good job at it, Matty Johns, or?
I don't know.
It's hard to say.
Would he do well? As I just said,
if
Matty wanted to dive into coaching, he's a highly intelligent guy.
Do you think they?
I'm sure he'd be well organised coach.
Yeah. He was.
Who knows? Would he want it? What would he want it?
That's the thing. What if you were him?
You
were him, why would you do it? He's got low stress in the media on huge money.
Yeah.
He'd probably be getting the same in the media as he would be as a head coach.
It's the world's worst.
So why would you go from a low stress job on really good money to a high stress job on the same money? Why would you do that?
One of the guarantees about being a coach is you're definitely
why would you?
You definitely. The thing about being a coach in NRL is you're definitely going to get fired at some point in your life.
100%.
That was because Gordon Tallis was bagging Michael Maguire for getting fired. We went through the ladder, and every coach except Craig Bellamy and Trent Robinson or something out of the 17 teams had been fired from a coaching job at some point in their life. So
Wayne Bennett get fired, did he?
Didn't he get fired from the Broncos?
Did he?
First time? Second time? Second time. Oh no, he went to the Dolphins.
No, I think the Knights fired him.
Oh yeah, the Knights
pretty
fired
sure.
him. Yeah, Knights fired. Well, the Knights fired everybody.
Real smart move from the Knights.
Yeah.
Firing Wayne Bennett.
But even then, it was
only be so hard, eh?
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't do it. I can't see why Matty Johns would do it ever. Like, that's, as you said, cushy media job going into NRL coaching.
Yeah.
No.
Consultancy would be. He does that anyway. He's obviously done lots.
Yeah, they did.
Individual players, and he's done stuff with.
There's a list there: Cooper Cronk, Toby Sexton, Cameron Munster, Adam Reynolds, Cody Walker. Those are all players he's worked with.
Cronk from a centre to
he's worked with me too.
Yeah, all right. Mitchell Pearce.
He helped convert Cooper Cronk from a centre to a half.
Yeah,
that was the thing. Like, that was one of the most. It's like his biggest masterpiece that he's done. Look at what Cooper Cronk did.
Yeah. Mate, Matty's football-wise, both the brothers are highly, highly intelligent, obviously, and those consultancy roles, there's probably not too many that are better in those roles around, but as we said, head coaching, completely different beast, and why would he want to?
Yeah, and there's another quote from him. He says, but there's the BS stuff outside of coaching, dealing with sponsors, dealing with people like you and me in the media, all that stuff, and then all the hard work. That's a quote from him, so I think he's certainly aware of what he would be facing if he took that job.
Marshall has shown you don't have to work hard, right? He only works 8 hours a day. That's the whole Benji.
Yeah,
Marshall.
Yeah, he's only he's 9 to 5 coach.
I keep giving this to Tigers because the tipping comp's coming up, right? And Adam, one of our guys in our tipping comp, he's a Tigers fan, so I've got to keep giving it to him every year.
What are we thinking? They're going to get better?
No. I think they won't get the spoon because there's some other teams that can get the spoon, but they're not going to get better.
I was laughing with Toddy Carney the other day. They were saying that there was a media story that Benji laid on 6 tries at training. And we were saying, how's that? I don't think that's a good thing.
No.
Is that right?
Talking about it
oh, wow.
Talking about how good it was.
Your retired coach.
Ripped them up at training.
Yeah, that's not a good thing.
That's a real problem.
Why is he out there playing with them? Does the coach often do that? How many times did Robbo scrimmage with you? Well, Wayne Bennett at Newcastle.
That'd be a good laugh.
Yeah. No, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to think with Jerome Luai there, they don't get the spoon. I mean, you'd like to think that they avoid the spoon.
They're going to avoid the spoon.
Who's the fullback? They got
Buller,
yeah.
So they got Buller.
They play good footy. Some games. They'll have some days where they put some points on, but
they got a good
defensively
spine. Like, they actually do got a good spine now. You know, it's Buller, Luai,
Galvin,
Coruscant.
Yeah.
You know, Coruscant's multiple-time premiership winner, Origin player. Yeah. Luai, multi-time premiership winner, Origin winner.
They'll improve.
Yeah.
I definitely reckon they'll improve. Just go back to the 80s. Honestly, all through the 90s and even when the Tigers were good with Sheensy, defensively they've been poor.
Yeah, always.
Like even when they had their best teams probably of the last 30 years before the 80s, or after the 80s, through the 90s they were pretty bad. And then through the 2000s when they had Sheensy there, even though they were thereabouts, they were never good defensively, were they?
Yeah, it was,
they had Toddy Payton there and Gareth Ellis, Lottie Dakiri, Benji, all those good sides. Defensively they were really poor.
Even
what they had.
Even when they won the comp, they led to a lot of points.
Yeah, you got to score on every play.
Well, they're the only team that's really win a comp off attack.
Yeah, you got to score on every play. Just score on every play, it's fine.
Yeah,
every play. Every play.
That was before the wrestle, wasn't it?
Yeah, yes.
So that's why they got the... But that's the issue.
Yeah.
They just defensively just had no identity.
It's not possible with the wrestle, is it, to win the comp with poor defence?
No, well, they say there's a stat. I think it's top 2. If you don't finish top 2 in defence in the regular season, you don't win the comp. Well, and that's been going on for
Penrith and
since the Tigers. I think it was since the Tigers in 05. So
yeah. So what are we thinking for the Knights this year? Where do we think they're going to land?
I think they'll make the 8. I think it'll be a similar year to it always is. Mm-hmm. They'll keep their run late. They'll be inconsistent. Mm-hmm. I can't see much changing. Yeah. I think they'll be thereabouts, but they haven't brought in anyone specifically that's going to really change that roller coaster. And
I mean, they have been linked to Dylan Brown.
Yeah, what do you mean?
Dylan Brown will be good. Like if you can pick him up, and as we said, I laughed the other day on the podcast with Toddy around the price tag. But my answer to that was that you're worth what someone's going to pay you.
Yeah, everyone's worth what they get paid.
What you pay you, so you can sit there and say, "Oh, you're not worth this and that." If one of the bottom clubs who's desperate and has the money, that's what they pay these days. So, but he's not. For me, he's not a 7. He doesn't play well as a 7. He's not a 7. He needs freedom, and I just want to see Dylan Brown even for Parra this year, just to have more involvement. Just get the ball in your hands and compete, be involved.
Who's the Knights halves? Is Jackson Hastings still there? Or has he been sacked from another club?
I think they got Tyson Gamble, Jack Cogger.
Yeah, he's gone.
Yeah, Tyson Gamble.
He doesn't get sacked, he gets asked to leave.
Tyson Gamble, Jack Cogger.
Oh yeah, that's it. They got 7s. They don't need to put Dylan Brown at 7. If they're floating him for 7, it's pointless. Jack Cogger's a good 7. He's like a consistent, steady 7. You know?
But wouldn't you say? Would it be fair to say that Tyson Gamble and Jack Cogger are sort of? Are they stopgap halves until you find a better option? Is that a fair comment?
Right, the Willie Mason line. Like you look at the Knights spine, and there's Kalen Ponga and 3 other guys.
Is that Mason?
Yeah. He said that about 18 months ago. Yeah. They had a big back and forth.
I don't know who any of them are, and no one knows who they are. There's only Kalen Ponga and there's 3 other guys in there.
So you think they'll make the 8, the Knights?
I I think they'll squeeze in if they play well.
They're a coach killer, man. I don't know how Adam O'Brien stays like alive, because last 2 years he's been on the nice edge of getting sacked. You know, in 2 years ago they were like, he's going to get sacked. It was like, he's going to get sacked, he's definitely going to get sacked, and then they went on that 10-game winning streak. And they're like, oh, he's a genius. Last year they weren't going to make the 8, and then they're like, Adam O'Brien's got to go, and then they make the 8. Like, oh, he's a genius. It's like, I'd hate to be. See, that's why would Matty Johns ever take over?
Yeah, again, if you have his career in the media, why would you sacrifice that for head coaching? You just wouldn't. I just thought we'd move on to a couple of talking points that came out of the first weekend of pre-season games. So there's this new play the ball crackdown that they're coming down really hard on. You know, I think they were upset last year with the number of players who would treat it as tunnel ball and not put their foot to the ball when they were playing the ball. And
it stops after 6 weeks.
That's the thing. What's the point? What's the point in these crackdowns when they just forget about it after 3 or 4 weeks?
Players think of it, right? Because there's the most famous one a few years ago that it was, I think, when Todd Greenberg was in charge, and they were really strict on it. And for the first 6 weeks, there was about 800 penalties. That was the most famous one. It was, all the games were taking 6 hours and stuff because there was so many penalties. And then after 6 weeks, they were like, well, everyone's learnt their lesson, go back to how you were.
It was too hard to critique every play the ball.
Yeah, like Gus Gould always says, there's a penalty in every single play the ball.
If you want one,
if you're looking for one. But like, what's the
that's why it's unpredictable if they just do it. If they do it at the wrong time of the game, and then it starts to cost them results sometimes, and then you're missing 100 other ones. Coaches go back, rewind the tape, and go, show 100 different examples. So I think that's probably why they end up scrapping it. But it's a bit of a power play, I reckon.
That's the thing. Like the
refs at the start of the year.
The thing,
just a bit of
who's in charge?
Who's the boss?
Why do they ever need crackdowns? I mean, isn't the rule book the rule book? I mean, why do you have to crack down on? Like, the rules are the rules, aren't they?
It doesn't make any sense. That would be, for this period, we're going to treat it harsher. You can either treat it harsh every single time, or you can treat it not harsh every single time. But I really hate when they do those crackdowns or whatever and they change it in the middle of the season. The fans really get annoyed. You know? The worst is when they change the rules in the middle of the season. I remember one year they changed the ball grounding rule in the middle of the season. So 1 week,
time was that?
it was okay. You just didn't have to have separation, and then the next week you had to have downward pressure
to score a try.
Yeah, so like tries changed week to week, and there was one a few years ago where the players were intentionally throwing the ball into the people who were laying in the ruck. And so they changed the rule and made it a penalty if you intentionally...
the dummy half, Well, the other one's the taking a dive, isn't it?
That's...
one on the weekend.
They got to get rid of that.
Yeah. Cooper Cronk had some interesting quotes. Yeah, he said, I know it's the first game, but I'm a little bit worried about this diving rule.
They got to get rid of that. I don't care about the ruck one, but the diving they got to get rid of.
Players are always going to do it if it's 50-50, but... at the end of the day, I'm doing it. Like, if it's to save a win, and there's half an opportunity, and you might be able to milk a decoy. I've got to be honest.
So you would do it.
If it's available,
I'm not diving off like a dog.
Doing the Jamie Soward.
I'm not going to dog it off a kick pressure back in the day and just lie down. I never did that. To milk something. But there's always context of the game.
Yeah, well, no, but
let's be honest. The game's on the line. It's a big game, and it's going to save you winning or losing. I'm diving.
If it's 12 or if it's 12 or with
true.
But if it's 12 all if it's 12 all with 10 minutes to go, and you're 40 metres out from your own line,
you can't check and release, and there's half an opportunity, and it's like you said, try to win the game. Of course you do.
Because you're there to win the game, aren't you?
That or go get sprayed by your coach. I think that's pretty sure.
If it's in the rules that you can do it, I'm all fine with it. But the problem is that
it's not really cheating because you're allowed to.
Bad,
you're testing the rule. You're not really cheating. No, you're testing the.
I think if I run into you and you don't fall over, and it's like I said, a decoy runner, right? And I run into you and you don't fall over, it's still a decoy runner.
So you're basically just making it more obvious.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, so that's the line I think I'm okay with.
That's probably what I'm trying to get at,
But if you're just like, if I'm not that 2009 Jamie Soward getting held back by Jamal Idris. It was the milkman when Jamie Soward became the milkman. It was like
yeah, I remember that.
Of course you do. Dragons were ahead.
What's the milkman doing these days?
He was coaching the NRLW Dragons team, yeah, but he's not anymore.
Is he?
Yeah, but he just touched Jamal. He was like this.
Yeah.
And then got the penalty.
Yeah, I remember it.
The GI one was the best one.
Oh yeah, threw it on the face. Yeah, that was great. Flips up in the air. But that's if they're doing that, no one wants to see it, because fans don't want to see faking, and if they're just falling over like they've been hit in the head even though they haven't, that kind of stuff. No one wants to see that kind of diving. But yeah,
I hate that stuff. I don't agree with. That's the one that I disagree with.
Because you're
faking head knocks and
decoy runner isn't allowed to contact the opposition, right? Inside shoulder or whatever the crap it is. So if I contact you, I'm not liable. I'm never going to do a decoy run. Yeah. If I contact you, even if you don't fall over, technically it's a penalty. So you falling over and going, he contacted me, just to highlight to the ref he contacted me, is a line that I am kind of willing to accept.
It's an instinct thing too, isn't it? Yeah. As a competitor, you're in the moment, and it's like when you're playing touch footy. Fuck, I touched him. Yeah. Your hands go up. It's just in our nature. I remember, it's hard to stop that reaction.
The best one is after every combat sport match, both fighters put their hands up if it goes to decision. Even if one got dominated, he'll still put his hand up, lucky one,
The broken.
Yeah.
Full bash.
I remember
they do it every one, eh?
Yeah, they do.
I remember a number of years ago at Brookvale, I think it was about 30 all with about a minute to go, and the Bulldogs were playing Manly, and one of the Manly players put their arm between Josh Reynolds' legs, and Josh Reynolds just jumped up and taken this dive, and the ref fell for it, gave him a penalty. They kicked the 2 and won the game, and smart play from Josh Reynolds, isn't it?
Cheeky Josh,
no, that's milk.
That's the milker.
Yeah.
But I loved it. Yeah.
It's the milkman and the milker.
But yeah, Cooper Cronk says that he thinks they should just fine players for diving, and that'll get it out of the game. But I mean, would that deter you from doing it? I mean, wouldn't the club just pay the fine? Like, if it was just fining players, the club would just go, "Oh, look, we'll pay the fine. Just make sure you get the penalty for us."
Well, how many are taking a dive and it's being awarded? That's a good question.
They don't ever do anything.
That's the thing. How do you tell for sure that they're diving?
Well, the only way you can tell is if it's a fake dive and then the try's awarded.
Yeah.
That's the only way you can get fined. But that's what I'm saying. A lot of the times when the players dive, it's usually because they usually get the run of the play, don't they?
They only
most of the time.
Yeah, 100%.
They only fall because they've had contact made with them anyway, and you're not allowed to make contact with the runners, right?
Inside. That's what I'm saying. They're not just falling without contact.
Yeah.
Find those ones. The ones that just hit the deck.
That we don't want to see. That's
sniping.
It's like it's inside shoulder, right? You're not allowed to make contact with the inside shoulder. It's some weird thing like that.
No, it's from the outside shoulder. Inside shoulders play on. That's the line you're meant to run.
Yeah.
It's an outside shoulder where they're cramping your ability to.
Yeah. So if they're a metre from you when you fall over, then it's ridiculous. But if they make contact with your outside shoulder, you don't have to fall for it to be a penalty, but the referee might have missed it. So if you fall over,
the whole idea of the rule was, which is with the actual, which is fair enough, is you can't block and cheat a hole off my space, because otherwise everyone would just be running holes from outside in. So the actual rule itself is the right.
It's the right rule.
It's the right rule because it becomes cheating. But I think the grey area now is when it's, some lines are running at a body.
Yeah.
And it's a genuine. You can see a player's eyes committing to the defender.
Yeah.
That's the ones that annoy me. Like, if I've committed to you and my decision is to commit to you, well, you've made the wrong choice.
Yeah, the defender makes a mistake. It's
when my intention is to come and check and release, and then you've taken me out blindsided. Well, you've cheated. So.
Yeah. No, if the defender makes a decision, it shouldn't be illegal.
No, it's just a bad read.
Yeah.
And that's the whole idea of what you're trying to do.
Yeah, that's why you have decoy runners, right?
Yeah.
To make them think they're going to get the ball, so they make the decision to commit to that player, and then you don't pass the ball to them.
Yeah.
But then the defending player can do he hit my outside shoulder, I fell over. But yeah, it's okay if they crack down on it, but like I said, I think if you make contact with the outside shoulder, it's illegal anyway. It doesn't matter if the player falls. You just don't want players like,
Yeah.
just falling over for no reason. And no fan wants it. No one who watches football wants it. No player wants it.
It becomes soft, doesn't it? Like
you don't want to be like soccer.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm just sort of looking ahead to these to week 2 of these pre-season challenge games. Now, the Vegas teams are going to play pre-season matches on NFL-sized fields. Canberra's GIO Stadium and FMG Stadium Waikato will be modified to replicate Allegiant Stadium for this weekend's pre-season challenge to help Vegas-bound players adapt to the smaller playing field, with players in the 4 teams opening the season on March 1 to have their final hit out before departing for the US. The NRL has approved the modification of the 2 grounds from 100 metres to 94.5 metres in length and 68 metres to 63.1 metres in width. So there you go, smaller field for these Vegas teams.
Kicks out on the full.
Yeah. So that makes kicking harder.
Is there any other stadiums in Australia that...
We don't have NFL stadiums.
No, I'm saying, is there any fields that are... They're all the same, aren't they?
Yeah.
It's a dumb question.
I think
What about Adelaide Oval and that?
There are no dumb questions, only dumb people.
Guilty. The old Olympic Park in Melbourne, they had really small in goals, didn't it?
Yeah.
But did you
The
know?
worst.
Yeah,
Melbourne
so
didn't
they
wanna
had
move.
really small in goals.
Melbourne didn't want to move.
Mate, the worst is Old Trafford.
Yeah.
Goals like a metre and a half.
Yeah.
And
And it's pissing down
the
rain.
fence is really close to the thing as well.
You
Yeah.
can't kick.
And so they think the issue, like the NFL are going to play games at the MCG in the next few years. They think the issue is the field's going to be so small on the MC. The MCG is so big. The NFL field's going to be so small. The crowd are going to be like, they're going to need binoculars to see what's going on.
Throw the atmosphere.
I hate
Yeah.
watching
Unless they get chairs on the...
Yeah.
I hate watching rugby
Sidelines.
league on a circle ground, to be honest.
It's a tough place to play on a circle ground. Like when you used to play at the City Cricket Ground, just throws your bearings off as a kicker.
That's the thing. I wonder
It's
if
an illusion, but
Yeah.
I wonder if the
because you don't know where the side is, right?
yeah, it's really hard to, especially if you haven't warmed up on the field. MCG was the same.
I wonder
It's
if
an illusion, but the field's the same size. It's hard to kick.
I wonder if the NFL did they really? Obviously, they've thought about they've looked into it and they're going, well, Melbourne's a sports mad city. We'll pack out the MCG, get 100,000 people. But did they think about it from the point of view of, well, this ground's so big that our small field in the middle, it's going to make it hard for the spectators? I wonder whether they gave that proper consideration.
The stadiums in America are massive anyway, so Americans are used to it. Like all of the stadiums in America are 100,000 seat stadiums and stuff anyway, I reckon. The best way to watch the NFL is really, really high with binoculars anyway.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
You've been in America?
I've been in America. I never watched an NFL game, but I got really into NFL when I was playing Madden on...
Oh, yeah.
Didn't understand what all the stuff was for, so I watched heaps of games to
learn to get better.
To get better. And then I was like, because it's so much off the ball, more than any other game ever. And I like this, I can't remember what they call it, it's idiot's paradox or something. Like the way they work is, how many steps removed from an idiot does the opposition defence think the attacking quarterback is? Because if I look this way, am I going to throw that way, or am I looking this way and I'm actually going to throw that way?
Yeah, right.
And then, but do you know that I'm looking this way and I'm going to throw that way? So actually, I am looking this way. I'm going to throw that way. Like,
You're confusing me.
That's the thing, though. It's NFL, man. It's so hard to follow because you've got to follow this idiot's paradox. How many steps removed from an idiot am I to understand? So you see the players like they're all.
The idiot's a metaphor for what they say.
Yeah. The defense is having to guess what the attack is doing based on where they're standing, but obviously the attack isn't going to do what they look like they're going to do.
Yeah. All right.
But then maybe they will do it because they think the defense knows that they're not going to do it. It's one of those
telling lies.
Yeah, they're all
Deception.
And then in the middle of before the play, they might call an audible where one of the players will be like, "Oh, the defense is here. I'll call it audible and change the play." And then all of the attack will move to different areas and stuff like that. It's
complicated. Imagine trying to.
And it's all 15 seconds long.
The playbooks.
That's one of the main things they running the lines because the quarterbacks and stuff have to throw. They throw to a specific spot. They don't throw to a player.
Yeah, right.
And it's after a count as well. So it's like they hike the ball and then the quarterback will be like counting like
they
1,
manoeuvre
2, 3, 4, and I just throw it there.
Yeah.
And that the player that's meant to receive it has to run a specific line that takes that specific amount of time to get to that specific spot. It's heaps intense, man. But yeah, only 15 seconds of play.
Yeah.
And so really boring to watch.
Yeah, it's a bit slow. I've been overseas.
It's like
New York I went and watched. It's pretty slow.
Did you watch the Superbowl?
Yeah.
What did you think? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, just the defence, How good was that? Mm-hmm. Just cut the homes out, didn't they? But
Jordan Mailata,
a bit of a dead sort of spectacle, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, it's hard. It's hard because we've all been brought up on rugby league. It's a hard.
I mean, the way the game went.
Oh yeah.
Obviously.
40,
with them getting a huge lead. Yeah.
Well, most of all, it was Donald Trump versus Taylor Swift.
Yeah, that was interesting. Yeah, she got booed and he got cheered.
Yeah, that was the most interesting thing to me. But it's too hard to watch, man. Like they have too many timeouts, too many stoppages, and there'll be like 2 minutes left to go in the quarter, but it'll take 15 minutes. Mm-hmm. And it's all about the advertising. That's one of the roadblocks for NRL in Vegas that they have. All of the like ESPN and stuff have. They're like, you don't have enough ad breaks.
Yeah, okay.
Like you just don't have enough.
I reckon they pay about $8 million for an ad.
Yeah, for
Super Bowl. Father-in-law was showing the other day, is everything that
30
pops up,
ad,
30 second ads, $8 million a pop.
That's crazy. But it's the most watched sporting event in the world. It gets watched by 1 billion people every single time. It's watched by more people than the World Cup.
Is it really bigger than the Soccer World Cup?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Anyway, the All-Stars game is on Saturday night.
Kalen Ponga playing?
There's we got the team list here. Yeah, Kalen Ponga's named in the Maori side.
Latrell and Okara serving their suspensions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Too smart.
Yeah.
Kalen's a big in, isn't he? Obviously
huge.
For the spectacle.
Yeah.
Against the Hammer, a big good contest.
They're both Queenslanders, right?
Yeah.
So that's really interesting.
So they wouldn't have played against each other in reps.
Jack Whiten's there.
Fisher Harris too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it'll be. Where's the game at?
It's at Combank Stadium.
Combank.
Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Saturday night, yeah.
Oh.
You gonna go?
My children's birthday, I can't go. Both my boys have their birthday around that time.
Yeah, because no Josh Adokar or Latrell Mitchell, no Nico Hines, because he's getting ready to go to Vegas, and no Cody Walker, he's got that injury as well, so it is missing a little bit of star power.
Who are the halves for the Indigenous?
Jaden Campbell and Niwai Peru.
Who are the halves for the Maoris? It's Maoris, right?
Yeah, Sean's Nickel Clockstad and Cody Nikarima.
I got to give it to the...
Who are you going for?
I'd go for the Indigenous because I always go for the home country. But
Connor Watson's playing for the Indigenous side at hooker.
Connor.
Yeah.
Good man.
I don't know, man. Like the Maori team... Who's the 9 for Maoris?
Jeremy Marshall King.
And who's the 9 for the...
Connor Watson.
Oh, yeah, you just said that. Yeah, you got to say the spine for the Maori team is way better.
Yeah. The Indigenous have a bit of... They won last year.
I've got that here. The Indigenous side won 22-14 last year. Yep.
And surely the Maori forward pack is bigger, but the Indigenous back line is faster and fitter.
Indigenous are quicker.
Yeah.
They're good to watch. It'll be a good game.
Yeah.
Open style.
It'll be really exciting. Some big collisions
intense,
and then some really fast, quick play.
Yeah, in the packs, the Indigenous side, you got Shakai Mitchell, Connor Watson, Josh Kerr in the front row, Dylan Lucas, Josh Curran, Hohepa Peru in the back row, and for the Maoris, you got Royce Hunt, as I said, Jeremy Marshall King, James Fisher Harris in the front row, Jordan Ricky, Jacob Laban, and Leo Thompson in the back row.
Thompson. Yeah. I'd love to see the weight difference. What the weight difference of the two packs are.
Yeah.
Because those Maoris are all massive.
They're fucking massive.
But yeah, the Indigenous will be really quick. They'll try and get around the slow forwards.
Yeah, he's on the bench for the Indigenous side.
Interesting matchup, but I reckon the Maoris will get it.
Yeah, I'll go Indigenous.
You reckon they'll get it done?
But it's it'd be good. Kalen Ponga, that's good. He wouldn't have never played, I don't think, before. I wouldn't Actually, you know what? He did play. He played in his first year when he was... second year I played with him in 2019. He played, because I remember watching it, when he went to 6.
Yep, you're right. He's played twice before for the Maori All-Stars, as you said, 2019 and 2020.
Yeah, I remember him. He went to 6 as his first game. He played 6 that year at the start. Newcastle played in the halves together. I remember it was his first game at 6.
Yep.
Oh, that was when everyone criticised it and said he's not a halfback, not a half.
Not a 6, yeah.
He had to get back to fullback. Who was the coach then?
Nathan Brown.
Oh.
He's at Para now, I think, Brownie. He's doing all their pathways, or might be doing stuff with the system first.
Working with his old teammate Jason Riles.
Yeah. I saw a thing for Parramatta the other day that was like Parramatta's currently paying $41 to win the premiership. So if you bet $100 on Parramatta to win the premiership, you'll waste $100.
I think it hinges a lot on Moses' fitness. If he stays injury free the whole year, that they can make the 8.
Yeah, well, even Brown. I think they'll be better defensively with Jason Riles there. Obviously, good systems. I think my thing with Parra, their leg speed in the middle in their forward packs, they're all the same. They haven't got it. You look at the best teams now that have got that real change of speed, especially in their back row. You know, they had that Lane there for a while. They've lost Campbell Gillard. I just feel like they're obviously got Adokar and Lomax there, so it gives them a bit of leg speed in the backfield. But I just feel like they're all similar leg speed. They need that. Yeah. They struggle to get on the front foot. I don't know if that's because of their predictability last year, but if they can find that that leg speed and then have Moses off the back of it, they can go with anyone.
They got some good backs, really good backs who can set up the sets from kick returns, right? So Adokar running the ball back.
That's the next. They've lacked that, haven't they?
Yeah.
And they haven't really had really solid, quick outside backs for a while, have they?
Yeah.
And that's the thing.
Guffo's gone, but he was an effort player. But as far as out and out speed,
and the try scoring that Adokar brings, I think the last 2 years, or for his whole time at the Bulldogs, he was either the outright top try scorer for the club or the equal top try scorer. I think 1 year he played 10 less games than, I think it might have been Jake Averillo, and he still scored as many tries as him. So that's going to be a real upside for Parramatta, having that try scoring of the Fox, and the Bulldogs are going to lose that. They haven't really replaced Adokar there. Where are those tries going to come from?
Didn't they?
Yeah, they did, but is Montoya the try scorer that Adokar is? I don't know.
Wingers just have to fall over the line.
But I
position now.
They're also big, man.
Backfield.
I'm just concerned about that for them, that they haven't, they got to find those tries from somewhere now. Now that Adokar's gone.
I was at the Bulldogs season launch last night, and a lot of the people I talked to who were Bulldogs fans were really they didn't want to say it loud, but in hushed tones, they were like, I think we're not going to go well this year.
I reckon I'll go well.
And I kept saying, are you mad? I got them tipped for the I think that'll be them versus Melbourne in the grand final, and Melbourne will win it.
Do you think the Bulldogs will make the grand final?
That's a big call.
Yeah, that is a big call.
That's my tip. I
hope you're right, but I don't know.
Bulldogs grand final.
Yeah, because I reckon last year they had super inexperienced forwards, like outside. What's their main forward guy? The guy from Penrith with the blonde hair.
Kickout.
Yeah, outside him, I think the most experienced front row was 88 games.
Yeah.
Their pack was really light. Yeah, and their pack was really light, and they had the best defence most of the year, and they faded in the last 3 games. And I think that will push them through. Next year they'll finish the whole year.
The big games with that. Well, Sexton went good last year, didn't he?
Yeah.
He was good.
They got Leo
Tracy's
Thompson.
a gun. I love Leo Thompson.
Thompson for 2026. That's something to look forward to.
So who's their starting pack this year? They've got.
I'll look that up.
Curran was good off the bench. Kurt Mann. But they're all smaller bodies, aren't they?
Yeah, but I think they'll be able to manage the fatigue for the year this year. I think they'll be better for it. It was because if you're
systems again put in place
before the end of last year, before the last 3 rounds, Bulldogs were the only team that hadn't had 30 points scored on them. They were actually the best defensive team in the comp, and they hadn't lost any at home. And in the last 3 games, they lost.
Max King and Sam.
Yeah, they are sweating on Leo Thompson for 2026.
Until he took an over from Roosters, he's a big inform, I reckon.
Yeah.
3 years ago at the Chooks, he was really good in the back row. He sort of had an injury, I think, 2 years ago, and then last couple of sort of 18 months hasn't played his best footy. He played a bit more reserve grade, but if I can squeeze a lemon out of him, he'd be really good. Josh Curran's obviously good. Yeah. I like Connor Tracy. I love him as a player. He's busy, he's tough.
I think maybe
it's all on Sexton, really, isn't it? If he can develop again, from all reports, he's just a bit of a student of the game, isn't he?
I just reckon
Taylor and that got a massive rap on him.
And I mean,
you just said that it's the top 2 defensive teams win the comp, right?
Yeah.
And last year, up until it was the third last round.
Yeah.
They were the top defensive.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, they fell apart at the end of the season.
That'll get better.
Yeah, that's
another year.
What is better than not losing a game at home, not having 30 points scored on your only team, having the best defense, but in the last 3 rounds falling apart. What's better than that is not falling apart.
Well, it was that Manly game, wasn't it?
They lost.
They fell apart. They were up early.
They're up 22. I was there. They were up 22-12 in the second half. You think in a semi-final, you're up 22-12 in the second half. You're hoping you get it done. Manly came back and won 24-22.
So second week of finals.
Oh, it was the first week of finals.
First week of finals.
Yeah, it was the knockout.
Manly got knocked out the week
after. By the Roosters.
That's right.
But yeah, what's actually better than, because really regular season they only had 3 really bad games. It was the last 3 games. So what's better for the Bulldogs?
It's the thinking maybe
What's the next factor you're saying this year then?
Connor Tracy.
Yeah, but in the middle. What's the difference?
That's the problem. They're still waiting on Leo Thompson. He comes in 2026.
They can't wait for that. That's what will...
to make the grand final, you need a proper middle.
Well, they got Kickow.
I mean, I
love Kickow, but I'm saying up front, their middle's good, but...
I think
who's there in that big game? Who's there?
I think they could go on par with what they did last year, but I don't think they can win it or go close to winning it. I think they finished 6th last year, lost in week 1 of the finals. I think it'll be a similar result this year. I mean, they'll have another pre-season under Serraldo, so that'll help.
I think they're the most clever coach team in the comp.
Yeah.
With what they've got. With Jason Taylor there and Serraldo.
Look, last year I tipped Panthers and Melbourne to be in the grand final and Melbourne to win. So I was right about one thing, right?
I reckon Melbourne will win this year.
Yeah, that's what I reckon. I reckon it'll be Melbourne.
Okay. Stable team.
Okay.
They haven't lost anyone, right? They've not really lost
Munster fresh. If his injury's good.
If his groin injury's gone.
Jerome Hughes.
Those groin injuries are terrible,
Who's better, Moses or Hughes? Who would you have?
Hughes.
Yeah.
Hughes doesn't get in the conversation because he doesn't play Origin.
I love him.
Yeah, but I think...
curious if you think Mitch has
he won the
gone past him.
The Dally M, right, Hughes? Last year, wasn't he? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well deserved.
He's a freak.
Yeah, he's so good, man.
2 comps. 2 comps.
He's the second best.
So you think Melbourne will win the comp? You think Melbourne will win?
I think Melbourne will win. I think Penrith will be there again.
Do you think wins the minor premiership? You think Melbourne do the double?
Go with Melbourne.
Because they're a really good regular season team.
I reckon Broncos are top 4.
Yeah, okay.
With Madge, Benny Hunt, a new coach.
You know they don't have
Madge
Man for 9 weeks though. The Broncos. They don't have Man for the 9 weeks.
Yeah, but I'd be putting Hunt and Reynolds together anyway. I think it's a better.
So you would. So you put them together
Hunt at
anyway.
7 and Reynolds at 6.
Okay.
Nah, Reynolds at 7, Hunt at 6. I think it's a better fit. Defensively, they're both rock solid. You got 2 kicking games. Ezra's obviously he's going to be a nice little inclusion when he comes back, and they've got a bit of depth there. Obviously Ben Hunt could play hooker if
that's
Walters.
I expect that Billy Walters not out. His Madge already said he's not playing first choice hooker.
He's playing.
It's that guy.
There we go. Broncos. There's a Broncos team for you.
There's that other guy that I can't. His name is complex.
It is. You got Ben Hunt there.
Well, that's when Ezra Mem comes back. Everyone's expectation.
Yeah, that's ESPN have got him there in their best side.
Yeah, Ben
He'll
Hunt.
definitely play there at some point. But I think Ben Hunt and Reynolds is their best
Ben
bet.
Hunt at 6. Has he played 6 before?
He can play as a runner.
Yeah, well,
6 as a.
That's
6.
really his best. That and his long kicking, I think, is his best. attributes, Ben Hunt, you know.
Yeah.
It's better when he has.
I think that'd be a really good combo. Then.
You know, he was best when Gareth Widdop was with him at the Dragons. You know.
Yeah, he killed it there.
Yeah, Gareth Widdop was the main playmaker. Yeah. Really underrated Gareth Widdop. You know, like
one of the best. Won the comp, didn't he? And then he would have played Origin for sure if he was a.
Yeah. He was really underrated. Unfortunately, he went back to England. But Ben Hunt was best when he didn't have to be the main
the go-to guy.
But
he doesn't have to be that.
And that works in his favour.
They have a huge pack, great outside backs.
When
Madge will have him steely.
What's his face? When Mam comes back, they have to play him in the halves because he's on like $1 billion a year. Like didn't he sign for like $800,000?
$1 billion a year.
Yeah, $1 billion a year. No exaggeration. Under the counter, it's the Broncos, man. But I think he signed for like $800,000 or something. So the expectation to be Walsh, Mam at 6, Reynolds at 7, and Hunt at 9.
It's a good team, but
yeah. Well, I reckon that spine is if they're consistent and on the field, it's one of the best spines in the league. Like,
so you think Thomas
Carrigan, Haas Carrigan, Jordan Ricky's a gun too. Fletcher Baker will be good for him. Come up from the Chooks.
But they firmed as well. Remember when they signed Madge, they went from being like $101 to win the Premiership.
The
third favourites.
Yeah, they had him outside. They had him finishing outside the 8 before Madge signed, and then Madge signed, and I think they're third favourites behind the Panthers and the Storm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I expect them to be up there too.
So you got them top four.
Yeah.
Okay. So they're your big improvers. So your big improvers.
Not only there 2 years ago. Last year they just looked disconnected.
Yeah.
Madge he's a perfect coach for them.
Yeah.
For sure. And I just think
it's
not when you look at it like that with the not only a good roster but younger legs too. Like they got a fresh, really young athletic team.
So you got the Broncos going into the top 4. You got the Storm winning the double, the minor premiership, and the premiership.
Yeah.
That means Madge will get the Dally M Coach of the Year.
Because it's most improved.
Yeah, it's just
result.
Most improved. It's whoever goes from.
It's a lot of success, Madge.
Yeah, that's for sure. We make fun of Gordon Tallis all the time on this podcast.
South.
Origin, Pacific Championship, New Zealand.
Yeah. Origin.
We make fun of Gordon Tallis all the time on this podcast because Gordon Tallis always hammers him. Hammers him. Like it's obviously that he doesn't like.
Well, that's Kevy's man, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly, exactly. We don't want New South Welshman coaching in Queensland and all that kind of nonsense. Even though John Cartwright coached the Titans. Like that's Gordon Tallis. We don't want any New South Wales players coaching Queensland teams, but they have before, bro.
Any other sort of bold predictions for the season that you can think of?
Dragons win the Premiership.
Dragons, how are they going to go?
I don't know. I have no faith because it's like keep your expectations low and then you can't be disappointed.
You can't be disappointed.
You can't say do they have a better or worse team? They lost Lomax. They got that Molo situation going on, so they got off-field dramas now.
Guffo will give them energy.
Yeah, and they
Damien Cook,
Valentine Holmes
Damien
comes
Cook's
in.
a good pick-up. Valentine Holmes. There's a few good signings there.
Everyone they lost, they replaced. That's the main thing, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, they've got off-field drama now with Francis Molo. Who knows what's going on there?
What's he done?
He just decided to I'm not coming to training anymore.
Yeah, he's
just doesn't want.
Yes, apparently
he's
an
looking
assistant
for
coach
an upgrade,
made a joke about drinking alcohol.
Yeah.
And Molo had an issue a few years ago where he got a domestic violence charge because he was.
And he doesn't want to drink.
He doesn't drink.
So I heard this story yesterday,
Yeah,
and they basically said if you don't drink, you're not a part of the team.
Yeah. And so Molo said, I don't want to be part of the team then, and so stayed home.
I don't agree with that. Putting pressure on a player.
No, it's stupid to put pressure on anybody to take any substance. You know, that
doesn't make sense. It's a bit old school mentality, but it's a bit.
Stupid. I don't think you should just go sit at home though. That's not good.
Yeah, it's a bit immature, isn't it?
Yes. But God knows what's happening there. Like they're saying they're not going to release him. We know he's on mental health leave or whatever. And
that's crazy, man.
So that's the thing with the Dragons, right? My thoughts of the Dragons: there is no off-field drama, and no matter what any player says, coach, club says,
we don't let talk about that.
Yeah, well, we don't let off-field drama affect us. Every single club that has off-field drama goes bad. You know, they drop. The only team that didn't go bad when they had off-field drama was Melbourne. And that was because they were cheating the cap. That was their off-field drama. See, in that year, 2010, they would have come third.
Rabbitohs, you just had the Rabbitohs. I reckon
You reckon they're going to go good?
I reckon they'll go good.
It's,
Like I said the other day, there's no team Wayne Bennett's ever at that is never connected.
You know,
You talk about off-field dramas.
Well, there's been none with Latrell. Zero. He hasn't been in the news for weeks except to say how well he's going, how he's got Graham Arnold is his mentor now.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, they brought Graham Arnold in to mentor Latrell Mitchell specifically about his commitment and stuff like that.
Graham Arnold.
I think it was Graham.
I actually did a kicking session with Graham Arnold when I was about 16.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. It's my claim to fame.
That's your claim to fame.
I didn't know who he was.
That's your claim to fame. Winning Origin. Premiership.
That's what Socceroos coach.
Andrew Jones said Mitchell Pearce is the third best halfback of all time. Claim to fame.
Is that what Joey said?
Yeah.
I think he said you were the third best halfback of the 2010s decade.
Yeah.
Thanks, Joey.
I think that's what he said, yeah. From memory.
Nah,
Joey
Graham Arnold, I did a goal kicking session with him. It was a mate of my dad's.
That's cool.
I was a bit, 15, didn't really know who he was too much, out of respect. But now, I'm claiming it. That's mad.
Him doing a kicking
Socceroos
session.
coach at a local park.
But him doing a kicking session with Mitchell Pearce is probably also his claim to fame.
I think the Rabbitohs will do really well. I think Lewis Dodd, spoke about him the other day. I played against him over there. How he handles the defence is obviously.
Yeah, there you go. Third best halfback of your era. That's what Joey
Thanks,
said.
Joey. I'll give you the envelope next week. Good PR.
I think we might have run out of time.
Yeah.
Mitch might need to go.
But thanks for coming again, man.
Thanks, boys.
Thanks, Mitch. Thanks for coming in.
So you did say that the Dragons are going to win the premiership, right? That's your tip.
Dragons to not win the premiership. Goblins to win the premiership. Rabbitohs most improved. Penrith in the grand final. Not the Dogs. The Dogs is weird. That's a weird statement.
Nah, I fully reckon they're going to do it.
Yeah?
I reckon they're going to do it. I reckon they're going to get to the grand final.
I hope you're right.
Only improvement they can get is to finish the regular season top defensive team. That's the only improvement they can have.
They have lost Addo Carr, though. I'm worried about that. I'm worried about the try scoring that he brought on.
Dragons didn't score many points when they won 2010.
No, they didn't.
They just defended the crap out of everything and then exploited the downtown wall. Alright.
I was playing that.
I know.
I was there. That's why you brought it up. Have some more of this.
That's a ding definitely knocked on. Alright, thanks for everybody for watching. Thanks Piercy again. Don't forget to follow SmartB on all the socials. SmartB Racing Podcast will be starting again soon for whatever carnival we're up to. Autumn Carnival.
I was at the races on the weekend.
Yeah, soon, yeah.
Did you win?
No.
Nobody wins.
I don't gamble.
Don't gamble. Nobody gamble. Oh, well, don't gamble. It's not good. Nobody wins. Is
that your advice?
Yeah, fully don't gamble. Nobody wins. There's a issue now with 16-year-old kids all buying sports bet accounts off the internet and losing heaps of money.
Bad habits, that.
Yeah, it started at 16. Because they got on TikTok, it's got like this nonsense about how I started making $35,000 a month when I was 16 by following this perfect system. Yeah. Anyway, thanks everybody. I've always got them. TikTok, bro. And we'll see you all next week.